Hey everyone, welcome to the Mayor's Table. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about what makes Farmington, Farmington, and it starts with farming. That's been going on here a lot longer than 125 years as this city has been around. And we're going to talk today with Bonnie Hopkins from the San Juan County Extension Office on everything that's happening here at the Growers Market on Saturday mornings at the museum, but also what's happening all across the county. With almost 3,000 farmers here, it's time for all of us to get together to make sure we're supporting this local agricultural economy. We're going to talk more about it. Stay tuned. Everybody, welcome to the Mayor's Table. With me today is my friend Bonnie Hopkins, the San Juan County Extension Agent, and we're here at the busiest place on Main Street Saturday mornings. You've probably seen it when you drive by and you're like, what is all the fuss about? Well, it's our Growers Market. This is one of the greatest places to come to get fresh produce, fresh bread, tea, so many good things, Bonnie.
So many good things, and all locally made.
And all locally made, and that's really the key.
Yeah, supporting small businesses.
Yes. How many farmers do we actually have here in San Juan County?
You know, they only do the ag census about every 6 years or so, but I think the last ag census in 2022 had about 2,500 registered farms in San Juan County. So that's farms of notable size that have irrigated land. So quite a few. I'd say probably upwards of closer to 3,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, and just to think, I mean, how long has the Growers Market actually been supporting these farmers?
The market started back in 1991. It's moved around to a few different places within Farmington. They started here at the Farmington Gateway Museum in 2011 and have been here happily ever since.
Well, it's such a great location for them, right here on the busiest section of Main Street. And of course, the city is investing also into making this a much more prominent park location here in the city. So we hope that it adds to kind of the benefit of our Growers Market as well. But I mean, this is just one of those places I think everybody should make that Saturday morning trip down here. How long does it extend? When does it start and when does it end in the season?
Yeah, the market usually starts about June every year and runs through the end of October, depending on the season. Sometimes if we get a really hard freeze mid-September, the market might trickle out a little bit longer or a little bit earlier. Sometimes if we don't have a freeze, the farmers may actually have produce into November. We're seeing a lot of our farmers actually put up season extension structures, hoop houses, greenhouses, so they can extend that season even longer. So we're really hopeful this year. The Farmington Market's going to have its first year-round market. So we're planning to go once a month throughout the winter, and we'll have baked goods, crafts, hopefully some produce from farmers, things like cucumbers, lettuce, tomatoes that do well in those hoop house settings. So we're really hopeful to keep the market going year-round, keep up the momentum of people shopping locally and supporting local farmers and local businesses. So we're really excited to see how it works out this year.
You know, we're early in the season right now, and so I just did a quick walkthrough, just kind of seeing what's available out there. And it's going to be interesting as the season progresses, the type of produce that will actually be available here as things grow.
Yeah, right now we're seeing a lot of squash. Really, squash started to come off the vine this week for those farmers that planted really early. We're seeing lots of onions, not quite tomato season yet. I know that's always the thing that people are looking out for is the very first tomato. We usually expect the first tomato at the market about the 1st of July. Okay,
interesting. Well, I've got my own garden. I've been kind of inspired by the Growers Market, and typically I just do the salsa garden.
Yeah.
So I got the tomatoes and the peppers, but I got to come here to get the onions.
Yep.
I'd like to plant some garlic too, but this just kind of fills the gap, and again, it's fresh produce grown by local farmers. I don't know, there's nothing better than fresh.
Well, I think it's more than just buying the produce. I think when you come here, it doesn't just fill your grocery bag, it kind of fills your soul. You're supporting local businesses that people are really putting themselves out there, which is a pretty vulnerable thing to do, to make something with, by your own hands and bring it to market, and people are kind of judging you. You're wondering if they're going to like it or love it. You may have your family's favorite recipe that you've loved and you're kind of introducing that to the world. So I think when you can support people like that, that's what builds up our community.
Sure.
So, I think that's one of the most important things. The produce is a wonderful benefit. I think the baked goods at the market have really exploded with the Cottage Food Act being passed, where people can actually bake non-hazardous food items at home, things like
Right.
cookies, breads, jams, jellies, where they were really locked into being able to do those things in a commercial kitchen, and now they can do them at home. So that's made a huge change in the market, having those ready-to-eat foods.
Well, we've got, I mean, Farmington's history is really based on agriculture. I mean, that was kind of, why is it called Farmington? I've had that question asked of people who've moved here, like, where are all the farms at?
Oh, they're here.
They're here. You just may not see them in town, but they're here. But between the apple growers and others, I mean, we used to have the railroad that would come through and take our apples all the way to Chicago and Washington and, I mean, all over the United States. I mean, that was kind of the foundation component that built this area up.
Yeah, and I think it's still there. I think it's still in the legacy of the community members, the historical families. You know, even when you live in town, I've seen people with 80-year-old apricot trees and 100-year-old apple trees in their backyard that they'll really dive into the history of, which I think is what makes our community so special. You know, you look at even just the water that flows through our community. We've got about 70% of the surface water that flows through the state of New Mexico right here in San Juan County. You know, you asked about farms, but we have about 40,000 irrigators. So people who have irrigation or water rights here in San Juan County. So they may not have a commercial farm, but they're using the water in the river. They're using that water to improve the quality of their lives, whether it's through a backyard garden, even through their beautiful landscapes, the trees that they sustain. So I think a lot more people are connected to the legacy of farming than they realize.
No kidding. 40,000 irrigation
Yeah, about
users.
40,000 irrigation users.
Well, it adds to that complexity of the Animas River and how important it is for this area, and why we need to pray for rain and snow
Absolutely.
every day.
Don't ever complain about the rain. No complaining
complain
about the
about the
rain,
rain.
no matter how much comes.
So one of the things, I think one of the benefits people may not know about is that we also provide the token system, the SNAP and EBT benefits here. How does that work?
Yeah, so the New Mexico Farmers Marketing Association is a statewide organization that supports farmers markets across New Mexico. One of their big components is to help administer the SNAP or food stamp program and the Double Up Food Bucks program. So a lot of participating markets across the state, it is optional, they don't have to participate, but they can actually, anyone who is on that assistance program can go to the information booth here at the Farmington Growers Market. Also, Aztec, Bloomfield and Kirtland, a lot of years, Shiprock, a lot of years, they'll be able to take the program. Sometimes it does vary. But you can swipe your EBT card. Say you wanted to use $10 at the market. They would give you $10 in traditional tokens to use. Those are going to be silver tokens. They're worth $1 a piece. And then they're going to give you 10 additional free dollars in what we call Double Up Food Bucks. So those are in $2 increments, and those can only be used on fresh produce. So that's a really wonderful program where we can give access to our most vulnerable communities that maybe are really tight on their food dollars, pinching their pennies, really watching what they're spending their money on, and they can come here and get fresh fruits and vegetables for their families to eat. You know, we know there's so much research out there that kids develop their eating habits by about the age of 10. So if they're introduced to tomatoes that taste like tomatoes and carrots that actually have flavor, then they're going to grow up really loving that type of food in their diet. And so that's one of our biggest goals, is to introduce those food products at an early age, because we want that to travel with them throughout the life. We want them to be farmers market customers their whole lives, get outside, eat healthy foods, live healthy lifestyles. So in addition to that, you can also use your debit card. At the information booth, they'll give you $5 tokens, and that you can actually get cash back on.
Very interesting. No, I think that's so important. We were not a chicken nugget family.
Yeah.
The kids had to eat whatever the adults were eating, and I love fresh foods, and so we were constantly making sure that they were eating the same things. And both of my kids, they eat everything. They eat the broccoli. They love the broccoli. They love all the fruits and vegetables. And I think it creates that palate, like you said. And I didn't think about the fact that it's really created by the age of 10. But introducing those things consistently when they're young, and the fact that people can have access to this who are in need of those benefits, I think highlights an even more important role of the marketplace.
Yeah, and the state has actually extended that program to some of our roadside food stands. So places like Bluff's Farm Stand over at Bolac and Townsend out in Aztec, they take those programs most years as well. And I know that they take it at the Harvest Food Hub. where you can use that. So those are really important programs, but the goal is to support local farmers and get healthier foods into our families.
Can you talk about the food hub? I think that would be fantastic to add to this.
We love talking about the food hub.
There's another component, kind of this partnership that we've worked with the colleges to make sure that we had opportunities for people to create that favorite, whatever that favorite thing is of theirs, and put it out to market for sale.
Yeah, there's a really big connection between the Growers Market and the Harvest Food Hub, which is a distribution center that's run by San Juan College. Jacqueline Montoya, she's actually here. She's the market director. She took over after I stepped back a few years ago. She also runs the Harvest Food Hub. They really fill that gap by helping farmers get to institutional purchasers. So the farmers, they may not have the time or the capacity to reach out to every school or every restaurant, every daycare or senior center in San Juan County with their availability. That's a ton of time on the phone and a lot of logistics. They can actually rely on the food hub to make those connections and then sell their food directly through there. And when they kind of grow out of that, then they can start working on those individual relationships. But it's been a great way to expand the market opportunities for our local growers, and then also utilize state funding for places like schools, senior centers, and daycares. There's a lot of money coming in from the state to support our local farmers for that, and the Food Hub does a really wonderful job kind of assisting the farmers in that process. The other thing, they just opened their commercial kitchen.
Yes.
So now folks can actually go in, rent the kitchen facility, make their value-added products. I think they're calling them food entrepreneurs, which I think is just such a cool term. But what I really love about that, we know with agrotourism and bringing folks on farm and having that commitment to buying farms is really created through not only fresh produce, but having that shelf-stable product. If you can sell those strawberries, but also send someone home with a jar of strawberry jam, then you're keeping the idea of local food in their cabinet year-round, which is really important to kind of stimulate market opportunities. And so we're really excited for the Food Hub to open and have those doors wide open. So there are things like freeze dryers, huge ovens, canners, things like that, honey extractors. So the college has really made a huge commitment to our local farmers and putting that together and supporting those funds.
Well, it's interesting too. You said it's a distribution center operated by the college. I mean, if you weren't able to come out to the Growers Market, you can also order.
You can order, or you can just go shop at their retail store.
Yeah.
So they've got a little retail store that's open, I think, Monday through Friday. You'd have to check their hours on their website or their Facebook page. But you can pop in and get stuff, or you can go on their website. They've got a great farm box program where you can sign up for a subscription and just get kind of a random sampling of produce in a box each week, which can be a great way to add extra fruits and vegetables to your diet.
Do you have any idea how much of the local grown food is actually being purchased by the schools for their meals? Because I know there's some of it.
I know it's well over $100,000 each year.
Okay.
So Farmington Schools purchases one of the largest quantities of local food in the state for the size of school district. So Farmington Schools has made a huge commitment. They've had a long legacy of buying that local produce. So we're really excited to see that. Not only have they committed to buying local food in the schools, they also partner with AMF to compost the food waste.
Okay.
And so AMF is one of our local landscaping companies. They needed more fresh produce to kind of complement their wood products and things that they were pulling out of their landscape side. So that's been a really great program. But they're also putting a lot of gardens in their schools. So we've got a few community schools, Animas, Apache, Ladera,
McKinley's got a garden going.
Yeah, so they're putting some hoop houses up at these schools, really integrating what I love to see, which is ag in the classroom programs, where we're teaching kids where their food comes from a really young age. They've also got, I think, 50 hydroponic grow towers in classrooms across San Juan, or across just Farmington school districts.
Wow.
So these kids are actually understanding the pH levels and how to grow their own stuff. The kids harvest their towers, and then they're able to take those products into the cafeteria, and then they'll highlight, we're eating lettuce from Miss Hopkins' class today. So it's really cool. The kids really get to be involved in growing their own food and really showing that pride, because it takes a lot of work to grow food.
It does.
So it's
not
great
easy.
that those kids can see that and appreciate it. Learn it from a young age. Those are all things that have been long-term goals for us.
Yeah, aphids. I just can't get rid of these aphids. I'm constantly spraying the aphids.
Yeah, aphids can be a problem.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll have a longer conversation about aphid control.
So if somebody was interested in coming out here and being a vendor, what would they need to do?
Yeah, so the market accepts applications through a website called managemymarket.com. You can go in and fill out all of your licensing information. If you're a baked good vendor or a craft vendor, put all of your information in there. Then it goes before the board review to make sure that you align with the values of the market. They don't allow any reselling here at the Farmington Growers Market, and they do have limited space for things that are non-agricultural vendors. It's always been really important to them that they stay primarily ag-based, which is not the same at every market. We've got the Makers Market downtown on Thursday evenings that is primarily for craft vendors, but they allow food and farm vendors there. Aztec, Kirtland, Bloomfield, they all allow both ag, food, and ag vendors. So you'll see a wide variety at the different markets across the county.
Interesting. Yeah, we've got somebody selling local meats, cookies, sourdough breads, tons of honey. I love the honey.
Coffee, compost.
Coffee. Yeah, we do have some craft wares here.
We've got beautiful flowers that are being grown locally. Pretty much anything you could want. And I mean, I think back to 10 or 15 years ago at the first markets, we might have had 3 or 4 vendors because there just wasn't a lot of produce. People weren't able to bake items at home. We didn't have a lot of craft vendors. And so to see what it's grown into today, you know, just a few weeks into the season, to have a full market is pretty incredible.
Yeah. Well, I love to see all the kids out here. Back to your point.
Yeah.
So many of these farms obviously have the children who are helping grow this produce as well. And I have to always mention Carson Stark. You said Bluff Farms out at the B Square Ranch. Carson is one of those, one of the champions, I think, for seeing youth who comes up into a program, because he was a part of the extension office
he was
program.
part of our new farmer training program.
We taught him how to grow, and now he's got 10 acres. I think he's growing out at Bluff Farms.
Yeah, we couldn't talk him out of it.
No.
We tried.
Mike Stark didn't know he was going to be a farmer when he grew up, but Mike Stark is now a farmer.
Mike Stark is now a farmer, yeah. So it's been really great to watch Carson grow and be such a young kid that's committed to growing locally and expanding, and he's a big risk taker. He's willing to just dive in and do the hard work. So I think he's learned a lot. You know, we have a lot of our legacy farms in the area, places like Elders Greenhouse and Gardens, Townsend, Bridgewaters, that have just been around for so long, that have really paved the way for so many of these other programs, but they've also committed to staying around. So I love to see these farm families, these ag families that are expanding things. You know, we've got the Pigfords at San Juan Nursery that just took over Manning's Greenhouse in Kirtland, which is just such a tremendous honor and privilege to do.
Well,
so they're working
their
so
distribution
hard.
is so huge.
Yeah.
People would be blown away to know that they are one of the #1 sellers in Scottsdale, Arizona, or Colorado Springs, or
I mean, my understanding
Las
is
Cruces.
they're the lead producer of geraniums in the southwest part of the United States, right awesome. Here in San Juan County. So people think when they look around that they don't see farms in Farmington, but I just don't think they're looking close enough. If you look around, they really are all over. You can go into neighborhoods behind Home Depot, you know, just over here, and you'll find farms tucked in 1 to 2 acres that people are still cultivating all over Farmington.
Yeah. Bonnie, talk a little bit about that new growers program, the extension office program that Carson was a part of. How can somebody, if they're interested in getting involved in that, what do they need to do?
Yeah, so we've had a new farmer training program at the extension office for the last few years. Right now we're shifting a little bit more into workforce development.
Okay.
So we've had a wonderful program for the last 5 or 6 years called New Mexico Land Link, where people, if they have available farmland that maybe they're not utilizing or it's underutilized and they want a farmer to access that, it's kind of like a dating profile. Our vision was Tinder for farmland. So you can actually make a post and make a profile with your acres and your fencing, your water systems and your equipment. And then anyone who is looking to farm on that land would also post a profile. And if your values align, then our team at New Mexico State University will actually get you together to come up with a reasonable lease agreement. And so that's actually been a really great transitional path, because we don't have a lack of land and water here in San Juan County if someone wants to farm. but none of that farmland is for sale.
Yeah.
And so really leasing farmland is probably what the future of farming looks like on a more affordable scale. So we're working really hard to support that program. What I'm hearing from the farmers is that they need more, they need a ready workforce to come in and help them expand their operations. So I'm working with a few different local farmers, hoping to partner with San Juan College to really look at that workforce development where we can build people up. And then after a few years of working on various farms, maybe connect them with a larger piece of land that they could be on more long term.
Yeah.
So we're in a bit of a transition period. We're not quite sure what the future looks like, but if someone is interested in farming, getting into it, they can absolutely sign up at the San Juan County Extension Office to be part of that program. If we've got land available, we'll put you on the land. If not, we'll find land for you to farm on.
Perfect. Well, thank you for all your work in doing that.
Yeah, we're excited. This year we're partnering with Bitty Baby Farm and Foods and their Farmer in Residence program. And so we're actually growing all Navajo corn to grow nishiji, and they actually turn it into baby food.
Wow.
So we're going to have lots of traditional corn on the farm this year. Just the other day we had a ceremonial blessing of the farm from some of our Native American growers. And so we've had lots of cool changes going on.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to make sure people are aware of here at the Growers Market?
I would just say if people have never been to the farmers market and they just feel like maybe it's not their space or not their scene, come down and try it out. There's something here for everybody. I think that it's a great way to be part of your community, and that's the best way to make Farmington a great place to live, is to actively engage in the people that are supporting it. So when you can come down on a Saturday morning and support 50 small businesses all within a 1 hour period, for me, that's the definition of shopping local, and that is really what's going to keep our community strong.
Yes.
So I would say, just come down, check it out. If you've never been, you don't have to bring cash. You don't have to bring bags. All of these misunderstandings that people have about the farmers market not being their space, or maybe it's going to be too expensive. Come down, have a conversation with so many of our farmers. They want to meet you. They want to get to know you. They want to know your names. So just come down and check it out.
And get some tea.
And get some tea, get some coffee, get some
coffee.
sourdough and some onions, and definitely lots of squash. So there's a lot of wonderful produce throughout the season down here. Right now we're seeing a lot of squash at the market. We've seen a lot of farmers picking those first fruit off the vine. All the month of June and July, I get calls at the extension office where people are asking me, how do I get rid of squash bugs? And my answer will always be, if you don't want squash bugs, don't plant squash. Come down to the farmers market. Let the farmers do the heavy lifting for you. They've got wonderful products here. Don't fight things you don't have to fight.
That's a really good point. And so much squash right now. I walked
squash.
through, I was blown away.
Yeah,
But squash
zucchini
grows
red
crazy
everywhere.
around this area.
It really does grow well until the squash bugs come in. And then
It's
you
not
just
that there's no real answer here.
There's
no
no-
answer for the squash bugs.
I mean, there are answers,
But they're not good answers.
They're really heavy answers, like things like torching around the base of the squash. I like a 1 gallon shop vac to just vacuum them off when they reach to the thousands.
Yeah.
So they just get overwhelming really quickly.
Well, that's awesome. Well, so look, again, as the growers market season progresses and new things are coming, that are finished growing, we'll start seeing those here.
Absolutely.
We're early in the season, but now's the best time than ever. Create a habit. I think that's one of the things that I've fallen out of, is the habit of being down here. Typically on a Saturday morning, there's something else going on, but now I don't have kids playing sports. I need to recreate that habit of coming back down to the farmers market and really just being a part of this cultural experience.
Yeah, and if you can't come on Saturdays, the Tuesday markets are about to start.
Okay.
Aztec, Bloomfield, Kirtland, downtown, all of those markets are starting in the evening. So if you can't come on Saturdays, there's lots of other opportunities throughout the week to buy local produce and shop local.
Yep. Support our local farmers. Be a part of what this amazing culture has created here. We are Farmington. We are farms. Let's support that local economy.
Absolutely.
Bonnie, anything else?
No, I think we've really covered a lot of wonderful things. I think it's great to be down here and beautiful sunny day next to the river. You couldn't ask for anything better. So come down and enjoy it with the rest of us.
Awesome. Well, I definitely want to thank our Growers Market Board for the work that they do to bring all these folks together. It's not easy with all the vendors that we have, and of course all the different growers markets that are going on around the area. So I definitely want to pass on my appreciation to them. Our Parks and Rec crew that helps keep this area nice and clean and prepared every Saturday for these events. They do a fantastic job. But we do all this for you, so that you can come out, you can enjoy this, you can be a part of this growers economy that we're trying to build and make more robust every single year. So Bonnie Hopkins, thanks for being here. Thanks for all you do.
Yeah, and thanks to the city. You don't see this all the time, cities being so supportive of farmers markets and local business. So huge kudos and shout out to, Shauna Reeves and you as the mayor. You guys are constantly supporting all of our crazy ideas that we come up with. So just know from, our deepest hearts that we appreciate you and all of your commitment to farmers.
Thanks, Bonnie. We appreciate the vendors, all the farmers. Let's keep growing around here in San Juan County, build this economy up. Let's make fresh food a part of everybody's diet. So you come out, you be a part of it, Farmington, Bloomfield, Aztec, Kirtland, Shiprock. We want you all here at the Growers Market Saturday morning. Until then, we'll see you here on the Mayor's Table.